Okay, the most disgusting thing that's ever happened to me in the strip club at work. There's actually been quite a few things, but it actually doesn't happen too often. Yeah, number one is when the guys have their hands covered in piss. Uh, so, so normally, in the lap dance, depending on where you work, they can touch above the waist. So most people are clean and normal. They can touch above the waist. So yeah, one guy is like, oh, so we can touch in here? It's like, yeah, you can touch above the waist. And then we get in the room and I realize his hands just stink so badly of piss after I already told him he can touch me. Uh, it was just, in that lap dance, I was like dancing further away than normal, but I still let him touch me a bit. So that was pretty gross. And then it occurred to me also, how many guys that are actually using the toilet, in the club and they don't wash their hands after they've been for a piss? Probably nearly everybody doesn't even wash their hands after they've been for a piss, and then they can they can touch me. During the COVID, it was quite good because COVID they made everybody sanitize their hands before the lap dance, but they took away the hand sanitizer after COVID. So yeah, the piss thing has happened a few times, the hand piss. So yeah, definitely I always have a shower after work. The other thing that happens sometimes in the club is you're lap dancing for a customer and then you realize there's like a wet patch on their trousers. So who is anybody's guess what the wet patch can be, but it's actually, happens, yeah. Maybe once every couple of months there's a customer with a wet patch on his trousers, and the options are he's either spilled his drink, he's either pissed himself, or he's either had too much fun and in the pants. So again, it's anybody's guess which one it can be. I always tell myself it's probably the drink they spilled. But then sometimes, like, I only notice the wet patch halfway through the dance, so I'm thinking, was that wet patch always there? And then obviously in the lap dances that we do, we're not allowed to be like touching on them, like grinding. Like, there's space between us. So there's always space between us. So I don't know how they would have too much fun in the dance when there's space between us, but I only notice halfway through. So yeah, that one happens once every couple of months also. And then I literally had the most disgusting day a couple of months ago. I had the most disgusting day. Like, there was like 3 really gross people in one day. So yeah, no, normally everybody's clean, everyone's fine, but there was like 3 in one day. There was this one guy, he just had like real bad BO, like body odor. And I was dancing with him and it was like not good. And then at the end of the dance, I asked him if he wanted to go again, hoping he wouldn't. And he did actually want to go again, so I had to go with him twice. And then he even came back to me later in the night and asked me for another dance. I was like, happy that he wanted another dance, and also I was worried that his smell would come off on me and other people would smell it. And then next thing in that night, there was a guy with a really wet leg. Like, not just a little bit wet, like the whole of his leg was like wet. Like, I don't know, from like just all of this area, like this much. So from the crotch to the whole thigh was wet. So I was like dancing with him and I just didn't dance too close so I didn't get wet. And that was really weird. And again, I actually, not everybody wants to go for a second dance, but I asked this guy if he wanted another dance and he wanted to go again too. So it's not, that happened. So anyway, that was that guy. And then the last guy, right at the end of the night, we were closing. He was the last one of the night. I managed to get two guys at a time for a lap dance. So that means I'm getting paid double. There's 2 of them. So basically, we get into the lap dance room. By the time we get into the room, our lap dance time has already started. So you can't like leave. You can leave, but the time's already started. So if we left the room, I would have had to just cancel the dance if we'd have left the room because it was like the last one of the night. So anyway, we got into the room. As we get in there, one of the guys does the biggest sneeze ever, like all over his hands. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just sneezed. And his hands were covered in snot. So he wipes his hands like all over his shirt, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I just sneezed. And I didn't know what to say because I can't stop the dance. We're literally closing the last one and they've already paid. So I sit them down, tell them the rules, which is touching above the waist. And I was just thinking, man, I'm just going to let this guy touch me like normally, because it's like literally the last one of the night we're closing. So yeah, I just did the dance normally. Now I'd already had the BO guy and the wet leg guy. So I had this, the snot hand guy, or yeah, just touch. The guys are really nice. So the good thing is these last two guys of the night, the good thing is they're actually like really hot, which made the snot thing kind of better because they were like two hot guys. And it was the last one of the night. So yeah, that's never happened to me before. Not sneezing that much. So anyway, that's the most disgusting thing that's ever happened. But then I've kind of been, I don't know, I was disgusting or I was embarrassing. So yeah, definitely a few times I've been in the lap dance room dancing for a customer, and I'm just sat in his lap, we're talking and we're joking, and like I'm laughing so much like I accidentally like peed myself a little bit, and I was like, hey, I said hey to the customer, I'm gonna pee myself, and then there was like a tiny bit on his trousers, which is definitely against the rules in the club, not allowed to do that, but it was his fault for making me laugh. And the same thing also happened a time when a customer thought it was funny to tickle me. There's actually a regular customer at our club, and he's got a couple of favourite girls he dances with, but his favourites weren't there, so I asked him if he wanted to dance, and he did dance with me, and it was my first time dancing with him, and I didn't realise he liked to tickle people, so he just spent the whole time tickling me, so probably enjoyable for me to like watch me squirm, but so anyway, yeah, that happened. And then the worst thing, so I don't take time off work for my period, so what we all do when we have our periods, we just put a tampon in and put the string inside, and that's what everybody does when they're working. But I'm always worried about it like leaking. After many years of me never having a period issue at work, one day I got brave and I wore like white underwear on the day I had my period. And then I was on this dancing around the stage, and then I realised it was like come through my tampon onto my underwear. I was on the stage wearing white, so I just ran off the stage in front of everybody for no reason. I don't know if they all saw it or well, I ran off the stage and I ran downstairs to the change room in the toilet, and then my boss starts knocking on the door. They're like, Michelle, what's wrong? Why'd you get off the stage? And I was like, oh, I got my period. And they were like, oh, that's fine, which is because some clubs are not happy about me running off the stage. The next time I had a period issue, I was in a different club. I was dancing on the stage. The customer had tipped me on the stage, so I was completely naked on the stage. I was naked on the stage. I actually came down to the front of the stage and I sat on the front of the stage kind of like I'm sitting now, and I was looking at the customer in the eyes. We were talking naked, and then I realised my tampon string had like fallen out of my vagina, so I was naked with my tampon string hanging out. So, but the customer was like looking at me in the eyes, so maybe he didn't notice. And because I was like in front of the customer, maybe the whole room didn't notice, I hope. Maybe the whole room didn't notice because the other customer was in front of me. So anyway, I just, whilst I'm talking to the customer, I just like pushed the string back in with my fingers, which kind of panicked me because I worried like people would noticing me pushing it in. And also the rule in all of the strip clubs is I'm not allowed to touch my own vagina. So if my boss or anyone sees me like pushing the string in, I'm gonna get like in a lot of trouble for touching my vagina, because it's no touching the vagina, no even putting my hand close to the vagina. So I put the string in, and then after I put the string in, my boss looked at me because I was making a face, because I was like, I was making a face. They're like, Michelle, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And so I never got in trouble for that one. Quite recently actually, I was at a different club, and there was this club is, if you get off the stage or you miss your stage, you have a $100 fine. So on this day, there was a new girl in the club, and she got her period on stage. So She was dancing on stage, and then one of the customers around the stage says to me, "Hey, you know that girl just got her," she's like, "That girl just got her rags on the stage." I was like, and then the girl, I looked at the girl on the stage, and the girl was like, "Yeah, Michelle, I just got my period. What do I do? Can I get off the stage?" I was like, "Yeah, get off the stage, man. Get off the stage." She's like, "Can you take my place on the stage?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Don't worry, just go. Just go." When I took her place on the stage, she had like the blood. Yeah, if it was me, I would have just wouldn't have cared about the $100 fight and just jumped off the stage, man. The $100 isn't worth being on the stage, like having my period in front of everyone. So anyway, I covered her on the stage, so that was all good. So yeah, the worst thing has happened. So 2 times recently this has happened. So I don't know what. So normally, you know, I put my tampon in when I'm working, no issues. Change my tampon partway through the night. Twice on different occasions recently, I'm lap dancing for a customer, and like the tampon wasn't enough. It just some blood came out. So I was dancing. I was like, I could feel something wet between my legs. I'm hoping it's just sweat from like the dancing around, just the sweat. And then I looked down, and there was some like blood on the guy's t-shirt. And I was like, oh my god, I need to go to the toilet, and I ran to the toilet. Yeah, I ran to the toilet. Lucky that, yeah, he definitely had blood on him. Luckily, this customer was cool with it. He was fine, but I'm pretty sure, like, I would never do that, okay? I'm not there to do that, but, so he was fine. And then it also happened to me another time recently, and I could feel the wet between my legs. And I just put my hand by my vagina, and then looked at it to see if there was blood on my hand, and then there was. So then I ran out, and I ran to the toilet. I was like, sorry, I gotta go to the toilet, and he never knew. I didn't get any blood on him, so I don't know why this keeps happening to me. And then after this, one of the other girls gives me a tip. She's like, what you gotta do is you gotta use 2 tampons at a time. So I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, obviously, 2 tampons is going to soak up more. So the 2 tampons worked pretty good. But the only problem was, because I'm not, I don't normally wear 2 tampons, I forgot about the second tampon. So I got finished work, take out my tampon like normal, I changed my tampon. And I forgot about the second one. And my period finishes. Two weeks later, the second tampon comes back out. And I was like, oh my god, I forgot it come back out when I was just using the toilet normally. So so that put me off using 2 tampons. But I feel like I used 2 tampons last week, and I remembered both of them. So I'm gonna, yeah, just the first time I forgot, because I'm not used to using 2 at a time. And obviously, because we're working, I put the string inside, because normally when I'm not working, the string's out. Okay, and I just want to finish on one last thing, okay? Talking about this also reminds me of another thing. I have the same issues kind of at the gym, okay? So obviously, like my worst fear at the gym, okay? So, you know, sometimes you're working out and people are like watching you working out, like they're looking around, especially if you're like lifting a really heavy weight. If you're lifting something really heavy, other people are like looking at you because they're like kind of impressed or whatever. But when you're going really heavy in squats and deadlifts as a girl, sometimes all the force and all the pressure can push the pee out of you and you pee yourself. So yes, that has actually happened to me 2 times in the gym and also 1 time at home. So yeah, but luckily the 2 times I full on peed myself, the gym was like really quiet. It was in the middle of the day. And funnily enough, I was filming myself for the technique. So I do actually have a video of me peeing myself in the gym by accident. So I did post that one online. But then my other fear is even worse than peeing myself at the gym. My other fear is if I'm having my period at the gym and for some reason I'm pushing too hard in like the squat or whatever and I shoot the tampon out, or sometimes I'm doing squats or whatever and I can feel sweat dripping down my legs And I'm thinking, oh dear God, please let this be sweat dripping down my legs. And every time so far it has been sweat, but I'm like, oh my God, please. Every time so far it's been sweat. Oh no, one time it was not sweat, and I was wearing black trousers, and also it was nearly the end of my workout, so I just finished my workout quickly and then I left. And then I did actually tell my coach the issue about peeing myself in the gym, and they actually gave me a solution. They actually told me about some underwear. They told me about some underwear that's like absorbent. So they they recommended. She said it's period underwear. It's meant for your period, but she said I could just wear it if I think I'm gonna pee myself.